Oh, I hear something crack. 2, 1, go. $60 to 70% battery left. I'm doing this test, so it's not bad. Hey, skateboard, where are you going? Where are you going? Come on. All right, so what we got here today is the Meepo Go. This is one of the Meepo's newest entry-level electric skateboards that uses dual motors, dual belt motors, instead of your traditional hub motors. Pretty excited about these because this just makes entry-level electric skateboards so much more interesting and a little bit more powerful. You get a lot more bang for your buck, especially if you're using a belt motor. So without further ado, let's take a look. Okay. Very simple packaging, I like it. And this is the board. So the first thing I noticed is that it's completely flat, right? There's no dip that actually goes down. And then on the edges, it flares up just a little bit. Some people don't like the look of a handlebar, and neither do I. But once you get to use this handlebar, it's so convenient. This is definitely a great plus. Let's take this out. Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but there is a layer of coating. I'll probably get a closer shot on this. You can hear it too. This is not just paint. This is another layer of rock chip resistant coating layer on the surface near the street side of the board. This is incredibly important because if you just ride a normal board, if you live in somewhere where there's a lot of sand and pebbles, the bottom of your board is going to look like the dark side of the moon, full of craters. But with this type of coating, it's going to preserve how new your board looks over a longer period of time. So I'm super happy that Meepo actually included this. These 76A durometer wheels, these are pretty soft. They feel really soft. They're 90 millimeters in diameter. Meepo's included 100A bushings. I wonder how good these are. The board comes with risers. There's actually a pretty big riser pad right here. There's also impact guard in the front and also guards in the back. It's very nice of Meepo to include these and not charge extras. I know a lot of other companies, if you do want a guard or something like that, you need to pay like $20 plus shipping for extra, but these are just included. Pretty generic looking, but distinctly Meepo battery box. I think it's got roughly 340 watt hours of battery, which is pretty good. I think Meepo is using Meepo has a new ESC, and that ESC is made by a designer who used to work at Hobbywing. So it's super smooth, just like, you know, Hobbywing, I guess. Let's see the belt tension. Belt tension looks very good. You want it to be not too tight, but also not too loose, so the belt tensions feel just right. These do have motor guards protection to protect the motors from potential impacts on the ground, and they do feel pretty sturdy and pretty hard as well. Okay, now let's see what is in here. This little box. Get the J6S remote. I like the ergonomics of it. I like the black color version of this. I'm not a big fan of the gray color, but you know what? That's fine. And this is a much bigger LCD display as well. So it's pretty cool. It's also very nice of them to actually put in a premium adjustable wrist guard here. You can adjust the size, so pretty nice. Yeah. Okay, so quickly press 5 times to enter level 1 adjustment interface. Quickly press 8 times to enter level 2 adjustment interface. And in these type of adjustment interface, you can enter your brake line, your brake curves. So braking curves, oh, that's pretty nice. So you get a lot of customization out of this skateboard. And then over here, you compare with your skateboard. That's kind of nice. Okay, cool. Meepo's manual is actually useful this time around, so you're surprised. It's nice. You get a set of tools, and you get a T-tool. Usually I have so many of these things, I just kind of leave these things in here. Very nice of Meepo to include a set of extra belts. These are 250mm by 5mm belts. Very nice of them to include that. And then you get a charger. Get a nice, this one only charges at 2 amps. So I think you have an 8 amp battery, 8 amp hour battery, so it'll probably take 4 hours for you to charge. So cool. And then the tip is this type of charging tip. Okay, cool. All right, so that's really it. It's a really simple setup. Yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna be charging this, and I'm gonna be taking this outside for a test ride. Oh, and it's so light too. Okay, cool. Hey, how's it going? So today we're going to be testing the Meepo Go. This is one of Meepo's newest and the cheapest belt drive motor boards. And I'm pretty stoked about this one. I think everybody else have their reviews out, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprises, but this is going to be a solid board in the $500 range. So yeah, let's get started. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little acceleration test, and then I'm going to do a top speed test, and then I'm going to do a braking test, and then a flexibility test, and then a little bit of a carving and turning test, and then finally a hill test to see how the board holds up. And the board comes with this thing, a J6S remote. This remote allows you to change your braking power, but I don't think you can actually adjust the acceleration. So just the braking power, which is pretty good. It's pretty chunky, it looks pretty big, but it's narrow. So it fits really well in the hand as well. Yeah, and this is the board. You'll notice that it doesn't have the drop down. Personally, I prefer the drop down because I know where my feet are all the time. One thing that I found was when I'm on this board, as I'm trying to unlock the top speeds, I constantly have to look down because I don't know where my feet are. That's one of the issues, but you stand a little bit higher, so it's a little bit more difficult to carve. If you like carving, you should be a little bit lower. It feels a little bit better to carve. That's just my personal opinion, but they did add a handle. The handle is super convenient. I don't like how the handle looks on a skateboard. I just think they look goofy, but if you're traveling with this, if you're using this board as a last mile transport, then it's actually pretty good. And also, when it does not drop down, there's actually a lot of clearance space on there. So when you're going over curbs, when you're going over a lot of unevenness and rocks, aside from that, it's got really soft and comfy wheels. These are 90mm 76A durometer wheels, and they're soft, they're quiet, they're quite grippy. Absolutely do love it. Orange looks pretty good too. So this is just a clean look. It has roughly 346 watt hours of battery, and I really like the design. The bolts coming out of the grip tape, so that if you do ever need to change anything, or if you need to remove the trucks, you don't have to rip out your entire deck to get to that. So that's really nice. And then the concave is it flares up very slightly at the edges. Looks pretty good. All right, cool. Let's get to our test. First, I'm going to do a carving and turning test using the stock bushings. Let's see. These are 100A durometer bushings. 100A sounds really tough, sounds really firm, but on these boards they don't feel like 100A. They feel like 93A. They feel definitely plush and soft. Right now I have the board tuned to carve and to turn, so I'm going to do a little bit of carving turning test just to warm up, and then I'll be tightening the bushings, and then we'll do acceleration and top speed tests. Hopefully I don't crash and burn or something like that. All right, cool, let's get going. I think the board, it's pretty agile. As you can see, the board is really reactive and responsive. It's really responding to like the tiniest changes that I'm making. This is a good sign that I like for carving, just because you know it's going to be a good car. Ooh, lots of salt on the ground. Almost slipped there. Pretty responsive. Yeah, that feels pretty good. You know, for a lot of the beginner boards, one thing I notice is that they're not really good at carving, not because they have terrible trucks, but because they have really, really terrible bushings out of the box that makes them almost impossible to carve and have fun on, especially beginner boards. That's like the most important, because they can't go very fast. So you have to kind of enjoy the board with a lot of carving and turning. But if you include crap bushings, then that's not good. And for me personally, I actually really like the default bushings that are included with this board. I don't think you need to change to riptide bushings. I think these are actually really good out of the box. They're pretty agile. They help you turn. Of course, I think the turning can be a little bit better, but still, like, it's pretty good. Woo! Yeah, the turning's really nice. Especially considering how much salt there is on the ground. Yeah, look at this. I'm really loving this. Turning. On stock, 108 bushings, man. All right. Yeah, this is nice. Feels nice. I think the deck feels really stiff. Most of the turns comes from the trucks. These are pretty nice trucks. These are the tried and true trucks from Meepo that they have on almost every single one of their skateboards. So yeah, let me do a little bit of a flex test. And let's see. Oh, I hear something crack. Okay. Yeah, this is not the flexiblest. Is that even a word? This is not the most flexible board I've ever had. There's a little bit of give in the middle. I think with my gears on, I'm probably 190 pounds. And then especially when you're riding like this, there's no bounce at all. And also, I think you can notice I am on a like 2% slope, and with the brakes fully engaged, it's still rolling down slightly. So there's that going. And I know the Ling ESCs would definitely lock into place, but I'm still rolling right now. Okay. This is really a flat ground. This is like 1 or 2% incline, and it's still rolling. Hello. Yeah, it's still rolling. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think it's finally gonna stop. Nope. Yeah, it just keeps going downwards. That's not good. It's not good. So this ESC feels just like the ESC used in Ace Deck, because Ace Deck has the same problem. It doesn't stay well on slopes. So this is interesting. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick turn test. There's too much salt. There's too much salt at where I usually do my turn tests, so I'm gonna try to find a curb area that does not have a lot of salt, such as this one. Okay, reverse skin-pin trucks. I'm just gonna try to go around the curve as close to the curve as possible. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's not too bad. This is like the expected turn radius of a reverse skin-pin truck. Okay, that's not bad. Let's do it one more time. Okay, about 1 car space out from the curb. So this is usually what I get with reverse skin-pin trucks. as a turn radius, so it feels just about right. I feel like if you switch the bushings to cone bushings on the street side and then get softer bushings such as Riptide, you can turn a little bit sharper. Okay, cool. So let's get to the acceleration tests. There's a lot of salt dust on the ground. I'm just trying to not kill myself, so forgive me if I don't go too fast. All right, so I tightened up the bushings. It's a lot tighter than before. I am in S plus mode with roughly 70% battery left. This way, I think there's a bit of incline this way, but should be fine. I'm gonna do another test going this way, going the opposite way. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. It felt like a 500 watt hot motor board. Definitely a little bit more kick than a hot motor, but I would say it's probably in the same range or so. 3, 2, 1. Again, acceleration is really smooth, but it does get kind of wobbly when you get past 25 miles per hour. It gets super sketchy on these type of boards. It's not Meepo's fault, but it's just these type of small wheels. It just gets kind of sketchy after 25 miles per hour unless you really crank down on these bushings. Now what we're gonna do is brake test. I have the braking set to 90%. I don't like to set things to 100% just because it's too sensitive. So right now I have the brakes on 90% and we'll see how they brake. Go somewhere there isn't a lot of salt. Okay, I'm gonna go up to maybe like 10 miles per hour ish, and then I'm gonna slam on the brakes. It's a little bit of skipping, but the tires didn't lock, the wheels didn't lock, so still pretty good. I'm gonna go a little bit faster this time, and then I'm gonna brake. Pretty good. Let's brake. Yeah, these brakes are pretty good. They're a little bit on the softer side, but then again, I have everything set to 90%. So let me change this to 100% braking real quick. To change your brakes, you just need to tap the function button 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, right now it says 90%. I'm just going to increase that to, okay, 100%. It says 100%, check. All right, let's go, S plus, 100%. I don't think 10% is gonna make that much of a difference, but we'll see. Yeah, it's a little bit stronger, but I wouldn't say it feels like night and day difference. Salt, so much salt. This is good. Like the what I'm looking for is the wheels not locking up. When it does not lock up, you still get good amount of grip with these wheels and you're still in control. So that's definitely a good sign. I would say the wheels falls a little bit on the softer side, even at 100%. And even at 100%, it's not too strong. It's not anything bad. It's just, if I feel like they have adjusted it just right. I feel like power users maybe do want stronger motors, but if you're not a power user, like this is plenty good enough. Okay, so one thing I noticed is that I constantly need to look down to see where my feet are because of the shape of this deck. That's like the one thing that I don't like about the deck. I still think it's good enough. It's dampening a lot of the vibrations, but aside from that, it's doing pretty well. And I think these bushings are actually pretty good. I think Meepo did a great job with these bushings. They're nothing compared to Riptides though, but they're still pretty darn good when it comes to stability And also when it comes to carving, the ability to compress and rebound. Hey skateboard, where are you going? Where are you going? Come back! Now it's coming back. Come on. Okay, I'm on full brakes. Come on. I think there's something probably wrong with my remote. Alright, but what we're here for is a speed uphill test. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I have about 60 to 70% battery left when I'm doing this test, so it's not bad. It's 16 miles per hour-ish, at least on the remote. $14. That wasn't too bad. At least it's moving. Hey, how's it going? So I just finished my testing. So overall, I like this board. I think it's pretty good for the price. Not necessarily the best that I've ever seen for this price, right? But I do think for 2025, it's adequate. It's pretty good. Talking about some features I really like. Number one is the handlebars. The handlebars just makes picking it up and going to places such as, like a shopping center, supermarket, or going on the bus, super convenient, so you don't have to hold the trucks. And also, I do like the design of the grip tape. The screws are already exposed. They have already measured and drilled a hole. If you ever do need to remove something, change batteries or remove the trucks, change something, add tread lights to the to your trucks, you don't need to remove the entire grip tape. It's already all drilled out for you. Also, the motors are pretty punchy. They're not the punchiest motors, but they're better than your standard hub motors at similar prices, which is really nice. And they also give a satisfying motor scream, so I really like that. So one thing I don't like about the deck is that it's completely flat. So when I put my foot on here, when I put my feet on here, it's kind of hard to know where it is without looking down. So this is one of the boards that I have to kind of look down a lot to see where my feet are. But I think the reason is because most of my boards do have a drop down, and I look for that. And I do think once you use a board like this for a while, even if there's no drop down, you should be able to kind of get a feel on where your feet are. One thing I do like about some Meepo's deck on the underside, on the street side, is that they have a protective film on top of the paint. And this film will really protect you from rock chips, right? So I think this is something really thoughtful, and a lot of electric skateboard companies actually don't have on their board until it's a more expensive version. This is one of the cheaper versions. This is one of the budget boards that actually do have this feature. Because if you don't have this and you ride for maybe just 10-20 miles, the back of your board, the underside of your board is going to start looking like craters. It's the surface of the moon. But with this feature, you're not going to get any chips. Your board is going to look as new, as clean as possible. The battery of the skateboard also is the battery size of the ER version, of the extended range version of your standard skateboards. I would say this package is actually really, really nice. For $500, would I buy this for $500? Yes, I would buy this for $500. Are there more powerful versions out there? Yeah, but you're gonna need to spend a couple $100s more to get the more powerful versions. But at just $500, I think you're getting a pretty good deal. Let me know what you think about this skateboard. Let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, I'll see you on the next one.